Find your mouthpiece and put on your jock straps. It's the Sports Blitz with Doug and Robbie.
Okay, how long is your show?
You guys have such a great setup.
Listen, if you're under a rock or if you're in a cave, come on out and listen to our episode.
It was fun talking baseball. I love talking Red Sox. I love talking coaching.
I don't care because I would rather there not be an MLB season than have to sit and watch the colossal embarrassment.
Hey, hello, I am Bloom. Yeah, it's Doug and Robbie from the Sports Blitz. I just wanted to find out whether you need some pitching.
There you go. In 5, 4, 3. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 78 of the Sports Blitz. Yes, if you can believe it. And by the way, happy April, everybody. Is official. The calendar has officially turned. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day. No April Fool's pranks, though, will be pulled here on tonight's episode of the Sports Blitz, or so we say. Maybe that was a prank in and of itself. You never know. But anyway, I'm Robbie. Doug is here as well. Doug, happy April, and how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm good, but we're actually really not doing the show tonight. So bye.
Oh, okay. There goes Doug. That was Doug's 5-second appearance on episode number 78 of the Sports Blitz. So, there he is.
Just kidding, April Fools.
April Fools. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do something.
That's all right. It's all good. You could have been a lot worse. You could have been Volkswagen. But anyway,
Good point.
Some of you out there hopefully know what I'm talking about. Hopefully they didn't just go over everybody's head. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so for tonight's episode, we are going to kick things off, even though we're not really going to be talking football per se, on the rink with a team that is actually in play as of now. They currently trail the Pittsburgh Penguins 1-0 in the second period, and that is the Boston Bruins, who entering tonight, holding on currently to the 4th spot, still in the East Division. Oh, by the way, almost forgot. Sorry, got to roll back for 1 second. If you are living under a rock or in a cave, please come on out, give us a watch, give us a listen, and then
I guess that was my line.
It's all right. It's all good. I mean, I sort of just went right past it.
It's all right. It's because I left for a minute.
Yeah, it was full steam ahead, so I just
threw myself off.
Yeah.
Not the Tobin Bridge, but I just threw myself off by leaving and then coming back.
Maybe the BU Bridge, but definitely not the Tobin Bridge.
Not the Tobin. But it's not high enough.
No, not high enough at all. But anyway, we got the Bruins currently holding on to 4th place in the East Division, currently losing 1-0 to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we've I feel like this has been a constant theme for multiple of our Boston teams that we will get into on this episode. The battle against inconsistency. The Bruins are definitely having struggles of their own with inconsistent play, and just when you think maybe they're sort of turning a corner, they sort of take 3 steps back, and Doug, I want to get to your take as to why do you think that the Bruins have just really not been able, it seems like, especially during this part of the year, to really sort of establish a consistency in the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I think some of the issue is, hi everyone, by the way, and I'm here and I'm good.
You did say hello.
I did. I need to say that so I can move on, so I can get back to, I'm back. But I just wanted to, I think,
hi, Doug.
Yeah, how you doing? I really think what's happening is we've seen this before. This is things that we've seen in the past year or two that have been consistently inconsistent.
Right.
The few things that I've noticed just by watching pretty much every game. But the first thing I want to say is that they're not in a bubble. So which is actually a good thing. But the issue is that they're playing the same teams over and over and over and over again. After a while, that
it's like Groundhog Day NHL schedule edition.
Same exact things over and over again. It's even my wife and I typically watch the games together and
by the way, shout out to our Bruins guru, Deb.
That's right.
Bruins guru. Yeah,
that's right. Bruins guru. She's actually in the other room watching, so there's no way we're going to be able to get her on right now. There's no way. She's watching the game. So typically, what we're doing is we're watching it, and then she even said tonight. She said, "Oh, who are we playing?" And I know it's somebody who we played already 14 times already. So it starts to get monotonous for the fans too. We want to see other teams. We want to see, and I totally get that. So, but that's not.
I miss the Canadians. I miss the Canadians in the league.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not really their issue, Robbie. That's not their issue at all. I think what their issue is, number one, puck management. Puck management's huge. I mean, I just think that the puck management has been horrendous. Even for a couple of periods, even the last game where they came back, and that's because of Brad Marchand. But it's just one of those things where puck management is something that's giving up pucks in their own zone.
Their defensive zone puck handling has been atrocious.
Yeah, their defense has been horrible.
It's ridiculous. I find myself just like literally wanting to throw the TV out a window with some of these turnovers. Just like I don't get it. No, you're absolutely right. I don't get it because they just cannot, to save their own lives, handle the puck in the defensive zone. It's ridiculous.
No, they can't. And I know that we have some young guys. I know that we have that a younger defensive core, and I get that. We also lost two very, very good defensemen, and Torrey Krug and our captain, Zdeno Chara. So it kind of makes sense. They need to get used to playing with each other. They're younger guys. The other thing I noticed is not keeping up with faster teams in skating. I've noticed that there are some periods out there where they're just not keeping up with them. And you got to. That's why Cassidy is playing some of the younger guys, is to keep up with the other younger guys in the other team that are skating fast. You have to in these days, just because a lot of the teams are doing that, and you have to keep up, because if you don't, I mean, just tonight, just looking at the game for a period, it was just an errant pass, a bad pass, and then it was a breakaway. I mean, we've seen this before. We've seen this before last year, the year before, and to fix it, I think, it's like deja vu. We've seen this stuff before.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what do you think is going on here?
I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head with, the puck possession has been bad. They just don't look crisp, whether it be, passing the puck, breaking the puck out of their own zone. And sometimes it's just too much passing. Like sometimes, they'll just be passing the puck. They'll be in the offensive zone. Puck you, exactly. By the way, if you hear us just saying random words, we have a little chat that we do from time to time during the episode, and so if you hear us say, Doug just typed "puck you."
Yeah, if you're hearing random words, we're just typing random words. So if you hear those, then you'll know that's where we're just writing.
Then I will say this a little bit behind the scenes here, folks, that I've sort of switched sources of filming, as you could tell from my lovely camera angle here, but get over yourselves. But anyway, and if I try to type in the chat, my finger kind of goes over the camera. So if you don't hear as much from me typing, that's why. So I kind of broke the fourth wall there. I kind of broke the fourth wall, and we're gonna move past it. But anyway, yeah. Spoiler. I know, the scenes alert, folks. Really enjoy. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, going back to the reason why we're recording this, when they're in the offensive zone, sometimes I just feel like they pass the puck around way too much. Like guys will have open shots, and then they pass the puck back out to the point, or they make an extra pass, or they have an odd man rush going the other way, and instead of shooting the puck, they try to pass it across or whatever the case may be. It's just like, shoot the damn puck. Like literally, you just gotta shoot sometimes, and it just drives me crazy because there's just this sort of passiveness that we are seeing out of this team, and like I said, it's just very frustrating to watch. So I think it's a combo of poor puck handling as well as being too passive at times in the offensive zone that just really has got this team sort of in this holding pattern, so to speak. So I think that would be those would be the two big things for me, Doug, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. And I just think that there just needs to be, I mean, I'm sure that Cassidy has addressed these issues. And what I like about, oh, there he goes, he's gone. What I like about Cassidy is the fact that,
sorry, I knocked something off my, hopefully you folks didn't, if you heard that at home, I apologize. I knocked my keys off of my desk.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We move forward. Oh, no worries. So I think what I like is the fact that Cassidy doesn't have a problem with it, addressing it and saying it and calling out his players. I mean, even yesterday after a comeback win, which was amazing. I mean, it was just a really, really great hockey game.
Yeah.
Not for the first two periods of the Bruins, but the third period was great for them. But even called out the fact that he said, well, Marchand shouldn't be the only one that's starting this off. So, I just think, personally that he doesn't have a problem with calling people out, calling his players out, which I happen to like a lot.
Yeah.
And gets them hopefully fired up. But, I mean, we've seen the same things over and over again. My idea is that they really have to simplify their game. They have to, you notice in the third period against the Devils, they simplified. They made the good passes and they shot the puck. And they came back and they won that game, obviously in the shootout. But what I'm saying, but they came back to tie it in regulation. So, and they were down 3-1. So the issue is simplifying the game, is making things simple. Don't make things complicated. Don't think too much. And the other thing is just keeping control. Is keeping in control is really super important, especially for them, because they have a lot of young players. They have a mix, which I really like a lot, but they have a lot of young players that still need to get into the groove and learn and that kind of thing. So that's something that I think is super important. And of course, do you have any thoughts on that at all, Robin?
No, I mean, I think again, you kind of hit the nail right on the head there. I think that, yeah, they got to be more aggressive in the offensive zone, like I was saying before, and just put pucks on net. Nothing else. Get rebound opportunities. Just generate some amount of offensive consistency. Generate some amount of offensive aggressiveness and persistence, and again, they seem to be falling behind in these games and having to play catch up. And against these better teams, you're not going to be able to catch up. Again, tonight they're in a similar situation. Right now they are currently trailing 2-0. Catch up, yes. Hines, to be exact. Doug just spelled the KETCHUP.
So
But
it's not
again,
that kind of
tonight,
catch up, it's the catch up.
no, yeah. Thank you. Oh, by the way, this is a perfect opportunity just to say, I'm gonna try to make this like a once episode kind of thing, just a pleasant reminder that the Rangers suck. Anyway, moving on. Doug knows what I'm talking about there. So, but right now, again, they're playing from behind against the Penguins tonight. I mean, they're down 2-0 currently in the second period. You can't fall behind by multiple goals into third periods against all these teams. I expect that you're always going to be able to come back and win. That's not the way it works. And when you get, into the playoffs and against these better teams, you're not going to be able to make up that margin. So I think you gotta, right from the very get-go, really come out firing, so to speak, when it comes to, like I said, just really, taking it to another level offensively. And they just haven't done that. And it's been frustrating. And it sort of leads into this whole idea of the fact that, they're coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And it's worth mentioning is the NHL trade deadline. And I know Don Sweeney has kind of sent out some mixed signals about whether or not they're going to make a move here, Doug. And I guess I'm curious to get your take. First of all, sort of two-parter here. Will they make a move? And if so, what do they need, and what should they be going after?
Yeah, I'm kind of iffy on whether he's going to make a move or not. I think he should, because I think that they're in a position in the standings where if they make a couple of moves, even one move might position them to get them obviously in a better position. I think they should at least make one, with the possibility of at least two moves. At least one move, but I'd like them to do two. One is to get another defenseman, and one is to get another forward. If not for anything but depth, in that situation. There's a couple guys out there that I've done a little bit of research on, a little bit, not too much, because it's just they're out there. One is a guy named Connor Garland. He's actually from the Coyotes. He's a forward. He's a real good 5-on-5 player. He is the second top scorer on the Coyotes. Just a real super player, and he would match up really, really well. I mean, he would do really well on the Bruins. That's my first opinion. Anybody that you put into a new kind of situation, and we'll discuss that in a little bit, sometimes there's a little bit of a period of, what the heck am I doing out here? So, and that does happen, but I think this is the kind of guy who's a great scorer, who's pretty good on defense also. He's not a defenseman, but he's pretty good on defense. I've seen him in a couple of YouTube videos where he's very good in between the lines, where he's very good in the neutral zone, he's like hitting pucks out and really, doing a great job with that kind of thing. So I think he would be able to. He's not the kind of guy that we would send down to Providence or anything like that. He's a proven veteran that can come in here and help us right away. The other person is a guy named Ekholm, and he's actually from Nashville. He's actually a defenseman. He is the best defenseman that's on the market right now. Problem is that because he's the best defenseman, he's going to cost a pretty penny to try to get him. If they were to get him, try to make a Danny Ainge sort of move if he can. He may want to consult with Danny on that, and try to figure out how to do that. Their defense, the Bruins' defense would look a whole lot different. I mean, it really would. He would make a direct impact right away. Those are the two top guys that I can think of, that could make an impact right away. And we're not talking about them being in 6th, 7th, or 8th place. We're talking about them being up there enough where they have to beat, certain teams. And I think with these two additions, or at least one of them, I think that may get them over the hump of them jumping in right away to be able to help out. I think everybody's got to step up too. Everybody's got to, obviously, just like we said before, simplify the game, take the shots when you need to take the shots. Do not do that extra pass, because when you do the extra pass, you're going to get them taken away because they understand what you're doing, and just keep in control. As long as they do that, I think they're really going to. They're going to be able to do what they did with the Islanders. They're going to be able to. The Islanders are not really that great of a team, but for some reason, they have our number. And not a couple of days ago, but they have our number.
The Devil, like the Devils have for some reason been giving us fits all season long.
The Devils do it, and again, the Devils not a great team either.
No, not at all.
So, and this is a problem, because once we start playing the really good teams, then what happens? If we can't beat the teams that are crappy, we're gonna have a real hard time with the better teams. So that's why I think if we get a one or two of these, or either one of these guys, I think that will step us up into another level, and that's just my opinion.
No, and I agree with you, and I think he definitely should make a move. One or both of the moves that you just talked about. Try to fill those slots. To increase the depth at both those positions. But I'm also with you in the sense that I don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, I don't listening to him, I don't necessarily have faith either way that he's going to pull the trigger on a deal. He very well might. We still have a couple weeks to go here, but just Sweeney, the signaling that Don Sweeney has been making, I'm just not quite sure which way to lean in terms of what they're gonna do. And I will say this is that if they play up to their potential, if they play a really full team game, I mean, I still believe that they can compete with any of the other teams out there. I truly do believe that, but there's got to be consistency. There's got to be a 60-minute effort where the full potential of the Bruins is on display, and right now we're just not seeing that. Hopefully we can see that, as we go down the home stretch here. And again, once you get into the playoffs, if you get on a run, anything obviously is possible, especially this year when, you basically, you're the first two rounds will be against teams in your own division that you've been playing all season long anyway. Right.
I think also, Robbie, if they get Ekholm is got a contract that's through next year. So it's very, very friendly contract, which is, probably signed a 3-year deal a few years, obviously 2 years ago, but he's got a very friendly contract that if they sign him through next year, it's still viable. And that's why you would think about some of these guys to put on the team. But either one of those two would be good for me. Do I think he's going to make a move? I'm going to say the same thing. And again, I was wrong about Danny, but we'll talk about him in a few minutes. But Do I think he's going to make a move? Do I think that Don Sweeney thinks that we have the right pieces right now? I think he may think that. Does Bruce Cassidy go to him and say, have you looked at the games? We may need some help here. We may need some help here. We may need to say, and again, some of the young guys are playing pretty well, but some of the young guys are really unseasoned. Connor Clifton's playing fairly well, but he's just not quite there yet. So can we get somebody like, like Connor Garland to come in, take over Clifton's space, have Clifton go down to Providence and work his way through whatever he needs to work his way through, because he's a young guy. So these are the kinds of things that you have to think about. So it's a matter of checking it out and seeing. Do I think he's going to do anything? And I'll probably be wrong again, but I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think he's going to do anything. He may do a minor move, but I don't know. I can't get as we get closer and closer. I think it's the 12th of April. As we get closer and closer to the deadline, we'll get more of a thought process on whether he's going to make a move or not.
No, I agree with you, and I'm not at all sure where to come down on whether or not Sweeney will make a move, but time will tell, as you and I think can both agree on. There. Speaking of teams that did make move at their that did make a move at their respective trade deadline, and who have also been struggling certainly with consistent play, the Boston Celtics, who it's interesting, since getting home in front of the newly crowded TD Garden crowd, have proceeded to drop the first two games with fans at TD Garden this season, losing to New Orleans and then losing last night to Dallas. Again, a Celtics team that is just continuing to battle inconsistency. They win two, then they lose two, and just up and down they go. And it just has been very frustrating to watch. It's killing me too, Doug. It really is. I don't know what else to say at this point, other than the fact they are just playing so damn inconsistent. There just does not seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel with them. And I guess, again, I know we've talked about this at length in previous episodes, but I have to sort of ask you again, what is going on?
I wish I had the crystal ball. I wish I had a thought. I have some thoughts, and a lot of it's what we've been talking about with the Bruins too, is they are consistently inconsistent, and the reason that they are is because of their actual play itself. That they have some superstars on their team. They have some really good players on their team.
Oh yeah.
Do I think we upgraded enough? No, we didn't. Did we upgrade with Evan Fournier? Yeah, I think we did. I think he's going to be a good player, although he was 0-10 in his first game. But Robbie, you have to understand.
He looked better last night.
You have to understand what he went through. And if you look at the reports, what he went through, you would say, if you understand what he went through, and I have listened to a couple of sports podcasts, other ones, a couple of other things I've listened to, and Chris Forsberg is a huge. He's really good. I listen to him a lot because he's very good. He's a Celtics insider. He does the games and stuff like that. One of the things that he talked about is how Evan Fournier got here. He was tested for COVID and got a positive test, which was not true. He was not positive. He got a false positive. So what they did was he doesn't live. He had to go back. He was sent here. He was sent for a test. He took the test, And as soon as he got the positive test, he was asked to go home. He had already been trying to get his stuff here, his family here, all kinds of stuff. And now he tested positive, and now they won't even let him in here. They said, you got to go home. So now he's got to go home. And then they found out that it was a false positive. They tested him again. He was negative. They tested him again, and he was negative again. So he got 2 negative tests. So he's back. He had to fly back to Boston and then play the game. I would be 0-10 if I had that kind of situation that I had to do, because the flights were 3 or 4 hours at a clip.
Right.
So we had to fly 3 or 4 hours back, and then fly there, and then fly back, fly home, and then fly back another 3 or 4 hours. So that takes a lot out of you, and the concentration of possibly being positive for COVID mentally, sometimes that gives you a little. So I'm going to give him a pass, an absolute pass with this, because people didn't know what he went through. He looked a lot better last night, obviously. Do I think he's going to make? Do I think he's going to make a huge impact? Do I think he's going to make an impact or a huge impact? I think he's going to make an impact. I think he's a really, really good player. Do I think he's going to bring us over the hump? No, I don't. And we got 2 other players.
Cornette I've kind of liked so far.
Because he's a 7'2" white guy that can shoot the ball, right?
Yeah. No, I don't really have an opinion on the third guy, so to speak, but Cornette has
Wagner,
yeah, but Cornette has Mo Wagner, yes, not Wagner.
Mo Wagner's 6'11", so all these guys that Danny, and the even on trade, even on the trade deadline day, they were thinking about getting rid of Cornette. They were going to bring Drummond in, and then get rid of Cornette. And now they're like, well, Drummond went to LA, and by the way, in his first game he stunk. He's got a bruised toe, and now he's day to day, and he was horrible. So, who knows about that? We lost. I wanted to get Drummond here because I thought he would be a good backup for Robert Williams, who I think deserves to be more of a center than Tristan Thompson. So, and Tristan's out.
Thompson, by the way, has been out for weeks.
He's out. Yeah, he's been out too. So it's been, and I don't know. Do I know? I think. I wish people would see that game. I mean, just think of see, I'm tongue-tied because I have no idea what the hell's going on. Watch the Milwaukee game. Watch the game against Orlando. I mean, Evan Fournier wasn't there, but watch the game against Orlando. Watch some highlights from the Orlando game that they just played and the Milwaukee game that they just played. That's the way they need to play. I don't know whether it's almost like they give up. They don't. In the last game, they didn't have perimeter defense. Since when did they not have perimeter defense?
They don't have interior defense. They don't have They don't really have anything. I feel like at this point
that they don't because I think because they've been 3 years in a row. Through most of the playoffs, they're thinking, okay, well, we're going to run over these teams, and they're not. These teams are like these really bad teams are beating them, and it just doesn't make any sense to me, except for the fact that they're giving up. I mean, obviously, Tatum and Brown are playing exceptional. They're all stars. They're playing great. Yeah. Kemba, actually, since he's been back, has been playing fairly well. Every once in a while he's been a little bit inconsistent in the last couple of games, but he's played fairly well. Marcus Smart doesn't understand about what the shot clock says, and I'm not really sure. I don't know. Was it brain fart or?
Do you believe? I mean, just that play. For those of you who haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube.
You have to look it up.
They did a jump ball with less than a second to go on the shot clock. All Marcus Smart really had to do was hold the ball. And I think the shot clock was either going to be a shot clock violation on New Orleans, or they would have reset it. I guess they'd be held on for a split second longer. But instead, he just chucks the ball up from half court, and it goes like over the basket. It's like, what the hell are you doing, Marcus? That's like J.R. Smith in the finals a few years back.
Not knowing how many timeouts there were.
Taking a rebound, not knowing what the score was, taking a rebound, running out to half court when it's a tie game, thinking his team was up. Oh yeah, that was. And listen, I love Marcus Smart, and defensively, he still shows that he's one of the top defenders out there. But that was just dumb. That was just really dumb.
Well, that when I saw it, and then I saw it again because I just wanted to see it, because I was like, wait a minute. And I saw it a third time because I just wanted to see maybe what he was thinking. And I have no idea what he was thinking, except for the fact that he might have mistook the fact that the Celtics had a second. And obviously that's why he threw it up there, because he thought he had a second and not New Orleans. But that sums up the season. In my eyes, after I saw it for the third time, that's what I said in my head. I said, that right there sums up the season. Now, it's going to be an interesting thought. I'm going to throw it out there, and I want your opinion on it. I've noticed with the teams that win and the teams that are energized, I notice that sometimes they come out and there's no energy. There's no, I want to win this game. I don't care if we're playing the lowest team. I don't care if we're playing the team that I know we can beat. You have to have the same energy going out with every single team, whether it's the Sixers or it's
the Pistons,
or some really just horrible team that's out there.
Yeah,
they have to have the same energy, and I don't see the energy out there. I don't see it consistently through 4 quarters. I don't. Now, I've noticed that with the teams that have energy, the coach has energy. Brad Stevens is chill all the time. Now, maybe he's not in private or in the locker room. We don't see him in there, so we don't know. We heard that he is. We heard that he's not so chill in the locker room. We hear he calls out players and stuff like that, but we never hear that. All we see is what we see in the sidelines. Am I saying this is Brad Stevens' fault? Maybe. It may be part of it.
Definitely. Oh, he definitely is
definitely part of it.
He definitely.
I just don't know how much of a percentage. I think it's 50%. I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50 to players. And again, some of the players, I mean, Jason Tatum doesn't come out with energy. Yeah, he is. And if he's not somebody you're looking at to get the energy, Taco Fall comes out and he has more energy than some of the Celtics that are out, the other Celtics that are out there. So he's just glad to play. So it makes sense. He's like a little kid in the park. He's not a little kid.
No, definitely not little.
7'5", 7'6". He's definitely not little.
Not little.
But what it comes down to is energy level and thinking. And they seem to just give up. My thoughts are is that they give up. If they're down by 3, they're like, oh, I guess we can't win this game, and energy level's low. And you got guys that are trying. You got Tatum and Brown that are trying. I'm telling you, what I said before, I think is still correct. I think they have a lot of dead weight on the team.
Oh yeah.
Edwards, even Williams, who I thought was not Robert Williams. Romeo Langford is just coming back. I want to see what kind of energy he can bring to the team, as opposed. I mean, Pritchard comes out. He's got energy to burn. This is a kid that can shoot the 3, that can drive into the middle, drive. I mean, he makes layups. He does really, really well. I think he should be up for Rookie of the Year. I really do. He won't get it, but I just think he has a tremendous amount of energy when he goes out there, because he's a young guy. Get it?
He's a competitor for sure.
Exactly. But I don't see other players having the same kind of energy. And
No.
I think they have a lot of dead wood. And dead wood meaning players, Tremont Waters. When's the last time you saw Tremont Waters play? I don't know. I don't remember seeing him. He may come in and not even crunch time, but if they're up by 20, yeah, he'll come in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left. I mean, Tremont Waters. I mean, Edwards. I mean, these guys who I think, why are they still on the team? Why didn't he dump these guys already? Bring in some other guys. Neesmith is what I've seen of him. I think if he can stay healthy, it seems like he could be a great shooter and a great player. Got to stay healthy though. Robert Williams, the third, where did he come from? He got his chance and he's been really excellent. He's been a little bit inconsistent, but he's always kind of been like that. But all of a sudden, he stepped up. Tristan Thompson went down, and he stepped up. He's got block shots. He's got, he took on Giannis and I was saying to myself, I haven't watched that whole game because I taped it. I was saying to myself, there's nobody that can guard him, Giannis. No way. There's nobody that can guard him. He did a fantastic job in guarding him as much as possible. And he really has, that's why he's got the starting job. Even when Tristan Thompson comes back, which he's supposed to come back, I think in the next few days, over the weekend or something like that, I think he's still going to have the starting job. Because I wouldn't give it to Tristan Thompson. I would keep it like that. So I think what I'm saying is that they're consistent. Again, they're consistently inconsistent. They keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Do I think that their playoff aspirations are in jeopardy? Yeah, I do. They keep playing like they're playing now. They're not going to make the playoffs. Do I think they have a team? Do I think they have a team to make the playoffs? Yes. Will they get out of the first round? Not with the players that they have constituted right now, unless they step it up. Which I don't see them doing. They're not stepping it up. So I don't see them doing it. They have to prove to me that they can win 6 games in a row and step it up and keep winning. And as soon as they do that, I'll say, okay, we're good.
Yeah. And that's why for me, first of all, what drives me crazy about this team is that they show these little glimpses like during games where they start to cut back into the game.
Right.
They start to cut into that lead, but they just can't quite get over that hump. And it just drives me absolutely insane. Game in and game out. It's like, okay, they're down 15. Oh, now all of a sudden now they're down 7. Oh, they're down 3. Oh, now they're back down 8 again. Whatever the case maybe, they just cannot get that one stop or that one shot to go. I mean, it just, and sometimes it's bad luck. I mean, Luka Doncic last night hit a 3-pointer that I think he literally hit it from Dallas all the way to the basket of TD Garden. I mean, it was that deep. But yeah, to your point, and this is sort of one of the talking points I wanted to talk about was, can this team make the top 8? Because I said on our little outline sheet here, I said, can they be a top 6 team? I'm not even sure they could be top 8. I mean, the doubts for me are getting more and more by game as whether or not this team can even be the top 8. Now, I do know this year that they are doing a bit of a different format in which they're having sort of this, I guess, play-in tournament for the 7 through 10 seeds, sort of for that number 8 seed. But I don't know. I don't know. First of all, I don't know where they're going to land on that. But second of all, even if they're in the play-in round, I don't even know if the way they're playing right now, if they could get through that into the top 8. If they get into the top 8 the way they're playing right now, they certainly aren't getting out of the first round, like you were just saying. It's going to take a lot more for them to, if they're able to get into that top 8, to make it out of the first round. And given just the the expectations of the promise and the potential that this team had heading into this season, where I said multiple times up until a few weeks ago that I still felt like this team could be a top 4 seed in the East. They have just so woefully underperformed, and it's not looking like it's getting any better. I don't see any sign of hope, so to speak, that they're going to turn a corner. And that's why I honestly could say that when it comes to their playoff aspirations, they're in serious, serious jeopardy right now of being, in the play-in tournament, so to speak, being in that 7 through 10 spot and not even making it out of that, not even making it into the field of 8. That's just how bad things have gotten, how inconsistent things have gotten for this team this season. And it's frustrating because you just have this feeling that they could be so much more than they are. And it's not, they're not showing it. And it drives me absolutely crazy night in and night out. Especially, you're back at TD Garden after a long road trip. You have a 7-game homestand. You have fans back in the building. First time since last March. First time in over a year that you've been able to play in your home building with fans in the stands, and you come out and you lose 2 straight to teams that you possibly should be, New Orleans and Dallas. I mean, that I don't even have any words. It's incredibly frustrating what this team has turned into, and yeah, I don't see any cause for hope, optimism, whatever you want to call it. It's just not there at all.
Yeah, actually, Danny Ainge was on Toucher and Rich this morning, which is 98.5, the Sports Hub, and I'm not sure if you heard that this morning, but this is what Danny Ainge said, and I think it's telling. It's telling what he's saying here, because I didn't hear it this morning, so I've read it earlier, but I wanted to let everybody know what he said. He said, "I'm responsible. Brad's responsible. There's not a formula. I'm around the team all the time. Every day I'm watching the preparation. I'm watching the players. Brad has zero responsibility for us shooting 5 for 34 from 3 last night, which is last night specifically. Most of them being open shots. He doesn't have responsibility when players improvise and are playing with lack of emotion after they miss shots. The only thing that he could do is yank his best players out of the game and go with the other players. That's the only option that he has." So he's noticing a lack of emotion. Players are getting upset because they're not making their shots, and that Brad is not responsible for playing the game, and Danny's responsible for putting the best possible players out on the court. So the responsibility is a third, but I think it's, the players play. So if you don't bring the right people in, then you're obviously not going to win. You're not going to win games, and you have to have a certain. You notice the emotion, just like I said before, is that I think that they need to want to win every game, no matter what. Yeah. And they should have started 10 games ago with this, 15 games ago. Started the season like this, not been in a situation where they're in 6th, 7th place, and are they going to move up now? They're every time they lose a game, they lose ground. Yeah. Now's not the time. Now is the time to do it, but it's a little late in the game to think about that stuff. Oh, yeah. So yeah. I agree with that statement that it's an all around kind of situation. I also think that and this by coaching and by managing, whether you managed a baseball team or you coached a Rivers, basketball team or something like that,
Time Rivers champs, by the way, just saying.
that of course, that's why I said it, because I knew you were going to say that. That the coach also needs to motivate. So I
But
think
the
part of
players
that,
have to motivate themselves, though. Only thing I'll say on that is the coach can only motivate so much. If
yes,
the players
of course,
can't self-motivate, the coach is
they
almost
have to
fighting a
take the
lost cause if they
motivation
can't motivate
onto the court.
themselves.
They have to take the motivation onto the court. Yes, they have to motivate themselves, which is very true. But I think what Danny's saying is very telling. I think that's something that totally makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to ultimately happen with this team. Maybe they can turn around. I've sort of gotten to the point where I just simply don't know. I mean, I don't know what we're going to get on a night in, night out basis. And that's very tough to watch, because I still just know that this team can be so much better than it has been. And it's just very frustrating, to watch game in, game out and just see, them come out slow, kind of like the Bruins, come out slow and get down by these large margins. And you're just like, do I even want to watch this game anymore? And yeah, they kind of chip back into it, but you have this sinking feeling, even when they chip back into it, that they're just not going to be able to get over that hump. And like I said, there's a lot of frustration, and well-deserved frustration, being leveled at this team by the fan base right now. And I just don't see a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to it. So I think, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see where they end up seeding wise and what happens. And if
Hey,
they
Robbie,
do,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that there are some. It's interesting how we as Boston fans, Boston Celtics fans, we're always like, okay, we're at the trade deadline. Well, we didn't get who we wanted, so now we're at the buyout market. So let's see who we can get. Let's see who. So it's like, okay, we haven't done enough, so let's see who we can get. But the fact is that he's got to get rid of the deadwood first before he can bring other players in. There are two players. Well, there are three players, but two players are who are out there who are probably going to be bought out. Who I'm not sure if I necessarily want them, but there are two players that are out there in the buyout market that I want to have a special guest on if one of these players actually comes to the Celtics.
Oh God, I know what you're gonna say. Oh no.
So the first player is actually both players that I'm talking about are ex-Celtics players. The first one is Bradley.
Yeah. Good old Avery Bradley.
Yep, good old Avery Bradley. Still shoots very well from outside, and we do need some shooting off the bench. So that wouldn't be such a bad.
He's still a heck of a defender too.
He is. He's been known for his defense. So.
Yeah,
and he was very good when he was here. So that's the first. And the second one is, this is a George special. Is unbelievable. I can't believe we're thinking about this, but Kelly Olynyk. Just to see your reaction is fabulous. But if he comes on the team, I mean, we want George to come back on and talk to us anyway. But if they specifically go out and get him, I don't know why they would want another center, since, let's see, how many centers do they have? Like 5 now. I'm trying to figure out why they want to have another center on the team.
Why possible advantage could that bring? I don't know.
Just the fact that he has proven with the Heat that he can cover the basket really well. He's done fairly well down there with he shoots threes. He can cover the basket on defense. He's been able to handle some of the bigger dudes that are down there. And so I think that's why that there's a thought, because he could back up Robert Williams. But I'll tell you, not somebody I certainly want on the team, but I think it's kind of an intriguing, only for us talking about it and having George back on. Love to hear what his thoughts are on that, since he has, ever since Kelly Olynyk's been on the, ever since Kelly Olynyk was on the Celtics, he was railing against him. So
now he
thought he
seems
was
to
a horrible player.
Now he seems to kind of like him.
Yeah, well, I would love to see his thoughts, but anyway, just wanted to kind of throw that in there.
Yeah, no, it definitely. Maybe they can get somebody in the buyout market. At this point,
not a lot out there now.
They've been linked to so many names that you just until the Peds on paper, you just really don't know.
Right, but there's not a lot out there. There's like 3 or 4 players that are even.
I didn't hear
and some of them may not be bought out at all. So
I heard them linked to DeMarcus Cousins the other day.
Cousins is most likely signing with the Clippers.
So yes, there you go. But anyway, definitely a lot more to see with the Celtics, good or bad. I mean, who knows which way it's going to turn out. But I do. Now, today was supposed to be a very exciting, special day in Boston sports and in the sports landscape, and especially if you're someone like me who, exactly. If you're someone like me who, has been a baseball aficionado extraordinaire since he was 5 years old, and that is that today is MLB opening day, and it was supposed to be opening day for the good old local 9, the Boston Red Sox, but due to weather, even though it didn't really rain here this afternoon, but that's a whole different story. Opening day was postponed for the Red Sox against the Baltimore Orioles.
Too wet. The grass was too wet.
Seriously. It was moved back 24 hours, so now be played at 2:00 tomorrow at Fenway. Again, Nathan Uvalde will be starting for the Red Sox. And that's kind of where I want to start off. Before we get into sort of some Red Sox preseason thoughts, as it still technically is preseason for another, less than 24 hours here. And Eduardo Rodriguez was supposed to start opening day. There had been a lot of build up to him starting opening day, but he was scratched a few days ago from that opening day start, and now has started the season actually on the injury list due to working back from a dead arm situation during the end of spring training. Now, obviously, everybody here knows the Eduardo Rodriguez story, missed all of last year due to COVID and has sort of worked his way back from that. So, I mean, he has not had an easy road, to say the least. So I guess my question for you, Doug, is now to have him gotten so close to starting opening day a year later, and now to be dealing with this dead arm situation, where does that kind of put your concern level when it comes to Eduardo Rodriguez, as his start to this 2021 season has been pushed back?
Yeah, it is concerning. It's concerning because he's supposed to be coming back from that, and all of a sudden, he must be feeling the same kinds of things as he was feeling, kind of before the injury or the dead arm or whatever it is actually. It is concerning. It's concerning, and I think Cora's doing the right thing. Obviously, can't pitch, get a dead arm, but logically. But I think he's doing the right thing, and I think he would, when he does pitch and he doesn't have injuries and stuff like that, he's good. So I would personally, at this point think that there is some concern. But I think shutting him down is probably the best idea right now to figure out what's going on and see.
You don't want to rush him and risk everything right out of the gate.
Especially now, we're just starting the season. Don't rush him now.
Yeah, Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to do that. It definitely raises the concern level to sort of see that, especially with all sort of the hype of him, coming back and now to have this happen. But I think you're right. I think that Core is ultimately making the right decision in terms of, taking it slow with him, really working him back at a good pace. And I just hope that when he does come back, he can be a strength in this pitching rotation that desperately needs it. That is for sure, as we were talking about in our last episode, sort of the pitching rotation, how on paper there is some reason to be more optimistic this year about the pitching rotation heading into 2021. Obviously, Rodriguez being out to start the year, we'll see what kind of impact it has on that prognostication. But it is interesting because I know we kind of started to get into a little bit last episode, Doug. I want to get sort of on the eve now of opening day, sort of some preseason thoughts, predictions, whatever you want to call it, for the 2021 Boston Red Sox. I mean, nothing could be as bad as last year. That is for sure. But I guess my question for you, Doug, is sort of what are your thoughts heading into this new season, and in particular, sort of what are your thoughts on what this team's ceiling can be? Like I said, entering a new year.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking. I'm actually. I have a little bit of, and maybe it's a little bit more than a little bit, but it's definitely some excitement to see this team, and as it's put together. I think at the beginning, before they hired quarterback, we were like, oh, who are they going to hire? And I'm not sure if we're going to watch it. And from last year, and you still got that last year feeling.
Energy with Cora coming
yeah,
back.
yeah. There's been
energy that he sort of brings.
Like a switch. It's like a switch was turned on. It's like, wait a minute, he's back. Okay, cool. We got him back in the fold. And now, what are we going to do to improve the team now? Now, we can't. There's no way that we could do. Well, I guess there is, but I don't think it's going to happen. But there's no way in my mind that we're going to do like we did last year. I think there's going to be much more energy. You're going to have a manager that's actually in the dugout managing. Standing up and actually managing.
Yeah.
As opposed to sleeping in the dugout. But I think you have a situation where I think it's going to be exciting to see this team. I'm looking forward to it. Do I think that they have a World Series team right now?
No.
I think that's something that we need to discuss. 20 plus games in, and we'll see what they have. But do I think as they're constituted now? No, I don't. But you never say that at the beginning of the season. You just don't. Even if you have the best players in the world, it doesn't really matter. You could play crappy and it doesn't really matter on that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they have, and exciting. It's baseball, and it's spring is coming, so those kinds of things also put the energy into it too.
I definitely am more excited heading into this season than I was heading into last season. That was for sure. I think even after the way last season ended for them, my sort of excitement level has definitely ratcheted up, especially since, like you said, they rehired Cora as manager. And I think Alex Cora is out to prove something. I think he's out to sort of prove the haters wrong, and sort of reprove himself to a lot of people out there after what happened with him. And I'm excited to see, what this team can do this season. Obviously, like we've said multiple times, it can't get any worse than it was last year. But I don't think that this team necessarily is going to win the AL East or have the best record in baseball. But I think it's going to be a lot more competitive and fun to watch this time around than it was last year. I don't doubt that for a second. And I think, I think there's a lot of things that are going to be very interesting to watch, the pitching staff being one of them and how that shapes up.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the new guys offensively that have, sort of on the fielding side of things that have come in, Kike Hernandez and Marwin Gonzalez, those guys, what kind of impact they make coming in here, along with the regulars, the JD Martinez's, who, had a terrible 2020 season. So, we're hoping for much bigger and better things from him this time around. And what the outfield situation is going to look like with no Bradley, no Benintendi, along with obviously no Betts. Just a lot of fun things to watch. And like you said, I'm really, really looking forward to it. And seeing, I think after the first 15 to 20 games, I think we're going to have a sort of start to get a good sense of, what this, Bruins scored. So they are now down 2-1. Oh, it was Marchand, of course. 9:03 left to go in the third period. Bruins now down 2-1 against Pittsburgh. Do they have another third period comeback? We shall see. But anyway, yeah, I think it's just gonna be a very interesting season, and I'm excited to see fans back at Fenway for the first time since 2019. I think that's going to be very exciting to see, and it's going to be another fun baseball season. Obviously, again, with any sport during the pandemic, you kind of have to keep one eye out for any sort of COVID-related issues. I know the Nationals, the Washington Nationals, are dealing with some COVID issues. They had their season opener postponed through at least tomorrow, if not through the weekend, with the Mets there due to some positive tests. So obviously, again, we're in a pandemic. So you just, with sports in a pandemic that are not in a bubble, you kind of have to, sort of keep one eye out for those kinds of things. Unfortunately, there are going to be bumps in the road, as we've talked about before.
Robbie,
go ahead.
What did you think of Detroit playing in the snow?
That was pretty wild. I only saw a few clips.
I only saw a few clips too.
That was pretty wild to sort of see. I mean, you kind of come to expect it, because obviously, April in Detroit, late March, early April in Detroit, much of the Great Lakes, or even the Northeast for that matter, definitely has its chill factor, so to speak, and snow factor. So I think we've seen it happen a few times sort of earlier in past seasons, where you kind of get that that early season snow game, so to speak. So that was pretty wild, for sure. So but yeah, it'll be a very fun and interesting season for the 2021 Boston Red Sox, and I look forward to it finally getting underway tomorrow afternoon.
It'll be chilly.
Yeah. Now, speaking of a sports event or a sports tournament that actually we were talking about, COVID issues. This particular tournament has actually gone off pretty well without any real major issues, which has been really nice. If you've been watching and listening to our episodes the last few weeks, you've heard us talk a lot about March Madness, which is truly in the home stretches. This weekend is the Final Four from Indiana. Very exciting time as always. You've got a very kind of interesting set of teams in the Final Four this year. You've got Gonzaga, who's the top overall seed in the tournament, but then you've got Baylor, Houston, and UCLA, the number 11 seed in their region there, making a run all the way now to the Final Four. Very exciting time to be a UCLA Bruin fan, for sure. By the way, in my bracket, my bracket is officially wiped out. My final team remaining was Michigan, who, as I said, fell to UCLA in the Elite Eight a couple nights ago. So yeah, I'm officially wiped clean as NCAA brackets go. But Doug, I did want to get because I know you were talking about how you sort of always start to pick up on the tournament as it gets later and later. I just wanted to sort of get your thoughts on sort of these last couple rounds, Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight taking place this past weekend, and sort of to go along with that, sort of any thoughts as well on the Final Four as we head into the final weekend of the college basketball season.
Yeah, I thought the games were fantastic. A lot of the games were some of them were close, some of them were not, but
Right.
but I thought that if you have a situation where you really want to watch some really, really good college basketball. I just heard from the other room, so something happened. I don't know what happened, but
3-1 Pittsburgh.
that's what happened. I just heard something from the other room. I heard things flying around in the other room, so I'm kind of blocking. I'm going right into the thing here to make sure that things don't fly too.
When we see something go as it past your head, we'll know.
Yeah,
we'll know
definitely. So you got to be real careful.
head on swimmingly, just
just like, whoa, what's going on?
where'd that chair come from?
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, oh my God, there's a tornado in here, a big wind. I just thought it was just an exciting tournament so far, and I thought the games were, at least the ones that I saw, were just fantastic. I mean, the gameplay was great, and lots of great players out there, which is gonna be fun to watch the NBA draft. But yeah, I just thought, I start watching at 32 and 16, and then when it gets down to 8, I just thought the play itself was exciting. I thought that, they've done really well with COVID, which is great. And I just thought, I've really liked it so far, and it's been very exciting and just great to have it back, I guess, in that respect.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree with you. I mean, it's just been, again, given where we were at a year ago at this time, with that being completely wiped out, just sports in general being completely wiped out. I mean, this past weekend in terms of sports viewing was magical. I mean, I just look at Saturday alone, you had college basketball games all day long on Saturday. You had college hockey NCAA regional games going on all day on Saturday. You had the Bruins playing Saturday afternoon, and then you had the Celtics playing Saturday night. I mean, it was some really, really good stuff.
One of those great Saturday sports.
Seriously, if you had nothing else to do, might as well just sit on your couch, with a remote in hand and drink in the other, and just enjoy the loveliness of this live sports for sure. But I did want to kind of try to be a little bit of a prognosticator here for the Final Four, just especially because I have no stake in the Final Four because all my teams, like I said, have been eliminated. So I just kind of,
not me. I have one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very intrigued. We'll get to that in just a second. But
that's fine.
What I kind of wanted to do here was sort of, if we can sort of go through both of these matchups, pick 2 winners, and then even pick a championship game winner based on our 2 picks for the national semifinal game. So we'll start with a matchup that I'm very intrigued in. It's actually a rematch of a 2006 Sweet 16 game where one of these teams came back from, I think it was 17 points down to beat the other in a thriller, and that is Gonzaga versus UCLA, where UCLA back in 2006 trailed Gonzaga by, again, 17 points in the second half, and came back and won it. Again, a rematch, 15 years in the making here. So, Doug, I guess I'll start with you on this. Just sort of give me your thoughts on that particular matchup, and also, if you can, who do you think? Who are you leaning towards in that one?
I'm gonna say Gonzaga's gonna get their revenge. It's been 15 years, but Gonzaga's gonna get their revenge. I think it's gonna be a relatively close game, but I think Gonzaga's gonna get the revenge, and Gonzaga's gonna win.
I agree with you. I mean, hey, UCLA has had quite the Cinderella run, and I give them all the credit in the world for it. But I mean, Gonzaga's undefeated. They're the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. I just think they're going to be too much for them at the end of the day. I really don't. By the way, point out as we go along here, which I'm curious, sort of when we get to that particular team, definitely point out which team you still have in your bracket there.
Yep.
When we get to them.
It's actually on. I predicted when this started. I predicted because we wanted to predict a winner, and I predicted a winner. So I'll tell you what it is, and I predicted, and it's on tape.
No,
we gotta.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm having
No, that's okay. It was a few episodes ago, so it makes sense. Why would you?
Yeah, but I completely agree with you. I think Gonzaga is just going to be too much for UCLA. I think they get the job done and move on, which leads us to the Battle of Texas, as I like to call it, Houston versus Baylor. Very intriguing matchup here. Houston, I don't even know when the last time was that Houston made it this far to a Final Four, or Baylor for that matter.
When Ralph Sampson was there, I think.
In the early 90s, yeah, early to mid 90s, I think is what I heard. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts and predictions on this particular matchup?
I just think Baylor's such a great team. They have played such great ball, and I just think
of the floor too. Both sides of the floor.
Absolutely, and I think Baylor's just going to really win this game outright. I don't think it's going to be as close as everybody thinks it's going to be, and I think Houston's a good team, but again, I think Baylor is just so well put together. They really impressed me too. They were like, whoa, these guys are really good. So, I just think Baylor's good.
I think I remember now, but was Baylor your pick at the beginning? Oh no. Oh, okay. I see where you're going here. Okay, no, I kind of just gave it away. That's right.
No, you didn't give it away. Baylor was not my pick. Although I wanted to, when I saw them play over the weekend, I wanted to kind of change. I wanted to change a little bit, but I have it on tape, and I still believe. But we'll. Go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think when I sort of looked at this, especially even just a round or two ago, when I sort of looked ahead, I had a feeling it was going to be Gonzaga versus Baylor in the finals, especially with Michigan being knocked out. I just think that Baylor, it kind of like with Gonzaga and UCLA, I just think Baylor at the end of the day is too much for Houston. I just think I think the Bears are gonna get the job done, which leads us to the Bears, yes, the Baylor Bears, yes. Which leads us then to both of us actually picking a Gonzaga versus Baylor national final, which will take place on Monday from Indiana, and yeah, I mean, now I think I have an idea of where you're going to go with this one. I think I may actually kind of be in the same boat as you, so I'll give you the floor first once again, Doug. Yeah, what do you see in a potential Gonzaga Baylor national finals matchup?
I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be very exciting, but I just think Gonzaga has some revenge on their mind, and they've taken every game. I just think they're just too much. I think it's going to be. I personally just think it's going to be closer than people think it's going to be, but I just think Gonzaga just has just a tremendous team. They all work together. They all they've just been playing exceptional, and I think they're just going to be just a tad too much for Baylor. And I had predicted, I think it was when we first started this, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It might have been last week, but I think it was at least 2 weeks ago when I said, we just had this, let's just predict, even at 32 teams, let's just predict who you think is going to be the winner. And I believe I said Gonzaga was going to be the winner, and that was without knowing.
Now I definitely think I remember that now. Yes, but
so that's who I predict will win the national championship.
No, I'm going to agree with you here. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to come down to the last possession, the final minute there. But again, I can't at this point go against the undefeated. I mean, especially with a chance of perfection. I just think Gonzaga's come kind of too far to fall to the way they've been playing, especially during this tournament. I think they're going to get it done. I agree with you. I think they're going to get it done. I think they'll be national champions and finish the season undefeated. Like I said, I agree with you completely. I think it's going to be a great game, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Watch with our luck. The funny thing is, with our luck, it'll be UCLA and Houston that'll win, and we'll just play it.
Yeah, we'll just be totally wrong.
I like Gonzaga to finish it off there, and I think it'd be very intriguing. I'd have to sort of research when and if there was a team, the last time there was a team that actually finished undefeated and won it all, because that is quite the remarkable accomplishment in this day and age of college basketball. So yeah, I agree with you that Gonzaga, I think they're going to get it done. I think the top overall seed will be the top overall seed at the end of the tournament as well, for sure. So it remains to be seen. Again, we could be completely wrong here. We'll definitely know by next episode, how right or wrong we were with these predictions. But it's gonna be a fun weekend of basketball for sure as we close out another very exciting March Madness. I'm glad that they were able to get through it all with little to no issues, which was awesome. So that sort of brings us towards the end part of episode number 78, and it is time to go into our final thoughts for episode number 78. So, Doug, I'll let you kick things off here. What's your final thought for the evening?
I have two, as I usually do. At least I have just recently. I have had two final thoughts. My first final thought actually does have to do with what we were just talking about, which is college basketball. Hopefully this is not yours. But
you're gonna steal my final thought, aren't you?
Am I still in your final thought?
Does it have to do with a certain coach that made an announcement today?
Yeah, but you know what? Wait a minute. I'll give you that one because I have another one. Okay. You take that one.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm into sharing.
I had nothing else.
I'm into sharing. So I'm going to say something that's not even sports related. But it was a little sad this week because we actually lost a tremendous author. Her name is Beverly Cleary. She published more than 40 books from 1950 to 1999. Unbelievable. She's a Newbery Medal winner. She wrote the Ramona Quimby books. Those are the books that I used to read to my daughter. So Ramona and Beezus and that kind of thing. Those were, I think it was made into a cartoon also. She was she was awarded the Living Legend by the Library of Congress and she was also a Medal of Arts winner. Also, she was also 104 years old, which is incredible. But she,
Good long life. Lived a good long
she's
life.
just an incredible author. Somebody who, if you were a child around that particular time when she wrote these books, you read them, and they were fabulous, and they were wonderful books. And again, the Sports Blitz sends our thoughts and prayers out to the Cleary family. That's it. That's all I got. So Robbie, for episode number 78, your final thoughts. I'm sharing tonight with you. So you have some pretty big news out there. So what's your final thoughts for this evening?
Well, first of all, my first final thought is more not really a final thought, but the Bruins lost unfortunately 4-1 to the Penguins. So
I'm hearing from the other room, and I'm ducking.
But no, my final thought, as Doug was just kind of alluding to, is that a pretty big name in college basketball coaching circles actually announced their retirement today, and that was Roy Williams, the longtime head coach at the University of North Carolina.
33 years.
Before that, he was the head coach at the University of Kansas, made multiple national championship game appearances, won a national championship, coached many, future NBA superstars, just, a heck of a college basketball coach, really leaves behind a legacy of greatness during his entire career. And like I said, I'm sure Doug will agree with me that we here at the Sports Blitz, send out our biggest congratulations to Roy Williams on a tremendous career in college basketball.
Absolutely. I hope, hey Robbie, I hope that he gets into commentating, or he gets into the somewhere where he's commentating even for the tournament, because I think he'd be fabulous. Because let me tell you, there's some guys out there that I had to turn the sound down, or I had to turn it off because I couldn't stand them. So having somebody that's got 33 years of experience, and he may just retire, and that's okay too, but would love to hear him on some kind of broadcast sometime, at least for a little while, because he would be amazing.
100% agree on that for sure. But whatever he chooses to do in retirement, we want to wish him nothing but the best. And again, just big congratulations there on a very successful career, and definitely well deserving of all the accolades that he has received over the years. That is for sure. So that wraps up episode number 78 of the Sports Blitz. Episode 79, looking ahead, we will be sort of touching on the Final Four and how right or wrong we were with our prognostications there. Sorry, I had a momentary technical glitch. All good now. But anyway, also be touching on the start to the Red Sox season, start to the Bruins season, start to the Bruins season. Wow. The Bruins season, seeing if they
really. Do you want to tell the lady in the other room that we'll start up?
Yeah. Just anyway, take two. No, I'm just kidding. But
just heard from the other room. She said, "I have no comment."
Yeah, I don't have any comment either. So don't throw anything at me. But yeah, the Celtics, more Bruin time, and the Patriots too. Just sort of seeing how their offseason continues to progress.
I'm just watching. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just watching off of flying objects.
Yeah, seriously. Duck and cover, man.
Just duck and cover. I'm ducking under my desk, man. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Duck and Doug. There you go.
Right.
So that's gonna wrap it up for episode number 78 of the Sports Blitz. Thanks as always, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure give us a watch on YouTube. Give us a listen on SoundCloud, Facebook. We're on Twitter, like and subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Just do it all. Just
Hey,
do
we
it all.
also want to know whether you like our production or not. Thanks to
Yeah.
Kyle
We
for
hope
our
you
production.
have been enjoying our new intro.
That new
Again,
intro
big
and our
shout
new
out to
outro.
Kyle for all of
Yep.
that. So very much appreciated. But yeah, a lot of good stuff going on in the Sports Blitz.
Check
these
us out.
days.
Remember to click the bell,
Click the bell,
subscribe, and
man.
click the bell.
Click that bell. But yeah, so thank you as always, everybody, for tuning in. Again, that's Doug. I'm Robbie, and we will see you next time here on the Sports Blitz. Bye, everybody.